everybody. Welcome back once again to another episode of Cherry and Timber Talk. And as usual, we have one more special guest on board with us today. And this topic is quite interesting for all of us because it's something which we haven't seen from close quarters, but we have a person who has and who's deeply involved in this business. So welcome, Annie. We have Annie Chave today with us. And she is the director and editor of County Cricket Matters. And she's also a commentator on Guerilla Cricket. So welcome, Annie.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Excellent having you on board. So Annie, so what's your story like? When I saw your profile on the internet, it kind of, amused me because, you're so deeply involved in county cricket and test match cricket as well. And, your commentary stint as well is something which kind of interested me because guerrilla cricket is a novel concept. I feel that it's something which is very interesting. So why don't you talk about it? What's your story?
Well, I'm that sort of typical person that has always loved cricket since they can remember. So very much I tried to play, and then time was very different then. And when they found out I was a girl, I was thrown out of the Colts team. And then I went on and tried to play, but by then I wasn't. I'm a deeply competitive person, and I was not good enough, and so I stopped playing. But I'm the secretary of my club, and my son, my husband play, and my dad. Basically, I go along and score and watch and all that sort of thing. Anyway, that's my sort of local cricket team. But I also, when my son left for university, I thought, I'm going to join Twitter and do some chatting about cricket, and that's what I did. And I started just commenting on a few things, and then being outside cricket, first of all, got in touch with me and said, what you're saying is interesting, why don't you write an article? And I thought, well, that's ridiculous, I don't want to do that. But then I did. And that was great. It was really exciting getting your first article out there and getting comments on that. And then Guerilla Cricket got in touch with me and asked me if I wanted to commentate on the IPL first of all, and I said no, I didn't want to do the IPL because I follow it a little bit, but I'm much more of a red ball fan, and I didn't feel confident to do that. But then they got in touch again and said, look, we're really trying to get as many women commentating, and we really like what you say, so why don't you come and do the India test match? That was in 2018. And I thought, yeah, why not? And I absolutely loved it. They were fantastic. It's brilliant. It's just like sitting in the front room chatting to your friends about cricket as you watch it, really. So that's what happened. And I got really involved in that. So that was that side. County Cricket Matters came about last year with the advent of the 100, and there was a few of us that were really concerned about the impact on county cricket, and so we brought out a magazine called County Cricket Matters, and the first edition was very much let's say a rant about the 100. But then we kind of changed tack and thought, well, the 100's going to happen, there's no point just being grumpy about it. So let's make the next edition and the editions after that a celebration of county cricket. I wanted to bring it into the light and say, look, this is really important, this is what we have, let's champion it. And that's kind of where it went. And yes, I found myself suddenly editor and starting doing all of it, really. So, wow. And here I am, and I'm back to bring out the third edition. It's going to the printers on Monday, so very excited. Absolutely exhausted, but yeah.
Interesting, really interesting.
So that's my story, yeah.
Wow, wonderful. I mean, it's always good to, have a complete diverse, background in cricket. Like I said, we covered women's cricket in the last episode as well. And, we were talking about how that game has completely gone to another dimension. And now, talking about women in commentary as well, and specifically with you and with the other commentators around, I think it's really adding a lot of value to the game, to the sport in general. So yeah, so very interesting. So Mahesh, what's your question for Annie today?
Annie, what I would want to know is, a lot of international players come to play county to improve their skills. Okay, players from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Australia, they all come and play. In return, what is it that the county expects from each of the players?
Yeah, I mean, it isn't just about batting well or bowling well. It's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of players that have gone on to be captains of the team, that have gone on to coach. They also want people to... It's sharing of skill sets. It's also, of course, what I would say interest from other fields. People from people from abroad would get the acknowledgement and interest in county cricket because of a player that they follow. So, for example, we've had at Somerset, which is my team, we had Ponting and Justin Langer, who were incredibly influential in in Somerset, and both were captain and led the way, and we had a lot of interest from Australians therefore as well. So it's not just about how much they score, because the overseas players that we tend to get are really fairly amazing. And we had Chris Gale in the T20 for a few years, and that certainly got some interest. And then, of course, we've had Azir Ali, which has been brilliant for us as well. So it's a two-way thing, definitely.
Interesting. Yep. Yogesh, what's your question?
Yeah, I mean, you started the conversation speaking about 100 and then, the impact it might have. So traditionally, I think county cricket had a character of its own. What impact do you perceive of something like 100 coming in on the style of play in county cricket? May not be immediate, but over a period of time?
Yeah, I mean, the T20s made a difference to the skills of county players. It's kind of done a bit of a... We've got now very much a white ball and a red ball split. But there are positives about that. I mean, absolutely positives about that. So it's not all a negative thing, but the 100 itself, if that's what you're asking, the 100 itself, it's kind of competing with its own sport is one of the main problems I think I have with it personally, because what happens is it's well, if it had actually happened this year, it would have been right at the end of July, August, smack in the middle of the cricket season. When, to be honest, the conditions for cricket are perfect for the long game, where the pitch is right for spin and for it's so many issues, and the long days and nice weather for the fans. Instead, you're taking a form of cricket that will be well, ideally they want it to be sort of 2.5 hours long, and it's sort of nonsensical in that way, because you're taking a prime spot. This is the beauty about England, is we have these long days, and if we're not going to use them for cricket, then it's ridiculous. But it's not just that. We have 18 counties. The 100 is for 8 city-based teams, and you're not talking about 8. Well, they're new city-based teams, but they're taking the county players. So you have 5 or 6 weeks in the middle of the season where there will be no red ball cricket, and instead you'll have for example, Somerset are losing 7 of their players.
Yep.
And they're split. It's not like they're playing together, which is it's a really, I think it's a damaging thing for the team morale as well, with some of them getting paid 125,000 or whatever, where the others are staying back and possibly playing a bit of second team cricket, or cricket with no influential players with them. So it's basically my main beef with is that it does take away that sense of team, and I think it's a really potentially damaging thing to do to cricket. And now I think I can see white ball cricket being, when kids are coming up and learning cricket, they'll be going, I want to do white ball because I could get paid a lot more doing this. And it's like the IPL will do the same to Test match cricket in India.
Agree.
It's because it's a direct competition, really. I think it's a strange way of doing it. At least the IPL isn't it, along the time where there isn't any other Indian cricket.
It's like, that's the summer season in India, and generally there is no cricket around in that time of the year. So that's how it was. On that note, on the white ball cricket note, do you also think that England winning the World Cup last year would also have an impact in kids taking up to white ball cricket more than Test cricket, or is it still pretty balanced?
I think it will. I mean, it wasn't just that we won; it was the way we won as well. It was such a momentous occasion, that that final was just
it was unwatchable in the last few moments, right?
Oh, absolutely. But with so many new white ball tournaments, yes, inevitably cricket is going that way. And then maybe it's not a completely negative thing, but to me, who really enjoys the whole nuances of red ball cricket, it's a really, really sad evolution, shall we say.
So, Annie, what I was really getting at is, with the advent of T20 and 100, are you actually reducing the chances of another Jimmy Anderson coming in and playing from, emerging from the county circuit?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the last few Test matches, series, we've really struggled to find, for example, an opening pair, a third batsman. We've bowlers aside, we've really struggled because that skill set isn't taught in exactly the same way. With the contracts coming in, the county contracts that came in, the county, the international players don't play for county very much at all, so they don't get that that real time in the middle that is essential for red ball cricket. I mean, in the old days, they used to play tests and then come back and play county the next day. I'm not saying that is brilliant. I mean, it's not been brilliant, but you still just play and play and play. I mean, I had an interview with Paul Smith, who played for Warwickshire, and he was saying the only way that someone like Jimmy Anderson will keep good is by just constantly playing.
Correct.
So I think white ball, you need different skills. Having said that, if you saw, I'm sure you did, I'm sure you all watched Ben Stokes' innings at Headingley last year. That is an absolutely classic case of brilliant having both skill sets, because he played the perfect Test match innings to start with.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
a slow, really amazing innings, and then he went on and played the perfect T20
T20 knock,
innings.
exactly.
You
Actually,
know,
we did this program on that specific innings, and we
Okay.
absolutely loved that conversation. And exactly the same words
Yes.
that you spoke. We all three
Yeah.
of us discussed how the first 90 or 100 balls, he was
He
on
scored 2 runs or something.
exactly, and then he completely switched gears. So that's actually the beauty of the game, where it brings so many facets, right? And how a game can turn, in terms of switching gears as a batsman
Yeah.
or as a bowler as well, when you start attacking more and more. So that's the beauty of the sport. And I think, yeah, all the formats bring something or the other, but yeah, there needs to be a balance maintained somewhere so that we give
Yeah.
equal importance to each format.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that's where we're getting.
That's right. And
Yeah.
someone like Labuschagne, for example,
Yeah.
he played so much county cricket that he was fantastic for Australia. Consequently, so that we know from experience that it is just brilliant to have that time in the middle, and county cricket gives you that. So yeah, shouldn't be lost.
Yeah, I think Harsha Bogle probably mentioned in one of his programs, right, that for many years it's always been believed that people go to the West, specifically to England, to complete their cricket education, right? So that's what county cricket brings into the picture, right? Amazing. So Mahesh, what's your next question?
West Indies comes to England next month to play a series, but unfortunately they'll be playing in an empty stadium. What's your take on that? Do you think it makes sense to play cricket so quickly, or do you think that they should have waited for a couple of more months?
I mean, it's a really difficult one, isn't it? I mean, there's a big debate about whether we should be playing it, and the same with county cricket. Is the same debate: should we be playing county cricket to empty stadiums? It's really difficult sport to play to empty stadiums. Like football, cricket is so reliant on a crowd, but we are now in an age where TV calls the shots, and but equally they pay the money, and consequently we have Sky who will be paying to have this televised. So it's great for English cricket in lots of ways. I hope they've done a deal with the West Indies for this, because it's a hell of a commitment for them to do it if they're not getting a certain amount of money for this as well. But yeah, going back to empty stadiums, I don't know what the answer is. I don't think it's a good thing, but we're all craving cricket so much. I'd be desperate to see something. And I can't claim not to be excited that the West Indies are over here and that I might actually get to see some cricket. So I don't know. It must be very weird for them because they're in a kind of bubble, aren't they? They've got to travel around. And it will be a weird 6 weeks or something for them, I think. But I also think it's really dangerous to get crowds in if it means that it will be spreading something. So yeah, I mean, the only sport I think that it's good for is golf, because the crowds are so annoying and shouting, get in the hole and things like that. But it would be good not to have them there.
Interesting. So, I mean, Annie, this is, I mean, I don't know if I can call it a weird question, but yeah, I did see from your profile that you are closely connected with Marcus Trescothick. And, that's one player that, we all love watching. And it was, I mean, he was really pleasing to the eye and, beautiful to watch. And what's your take on, how he was as a player, since you watched him and, from close quarters? We want to know a little bit more about him from your side.
I think with Marcus Trescothick, it's not just what he does on the field. There's so much to him. I believe, I've not been in the changing rooms, but I believe he was a vital cog in the changing rooms and a brilliant person at getting players going and coaching them. He's now going to be batting coach for Somerset, so that just proves what a star he is. But it's also the mental side, and him writing the book and saying how, you know, bringing that to the forefront. And it's a real. Have you read his book?
Not yet, but I do know.
Right,
about,
well, you better get on with it.
Yeah.
It's a really honest account, and it's actually really brutal in points, and so there's that. Speaking for myself, the going to Somerset and knowing we're batting first just fills me with joy, because I think, right, I'm going to see Marcus bat, and I sit down and I think, right, is he coming out and is he going to be batting positively and creaming everything to the boundary?
Yep.
Or is he going to be doing some of those incredible leaves of his that make me smile possibly more than that? He's just a force. When he hits that ball, it just absolutely flies to the boundary, and he's just got that sense of it just feels you feel secure with him, which is weird, because he you know, that part of his problem in his career has been that he's had problems, hasn't he? But getting caught behind quite a lot, and so he's not. You don't. I've never actually watched Marcus and thought, oh well, he's in for the day. He keeps me on the edge, and I love that about him as well. So he just, but there's something. He's a big man, and he's a big force, and just feels extra special when he's around at Somerset. So he's going to be really, really missed. I was there for his last match, and it was really quite an emotional thing watching him come off the ground for the last time.
Interesting.
What a player! What an amazing player.
You know, there was one very distinct memory of him. I don't know which ground it was, but there was a test match going on where he slog swept Muthaiya Muralidharan, and it went for 6, and I was like, wow, what a shot, man! And it was very unlikely to see a left-handed batsman do that to Murali, because slog sweeping against the turn, against the turn, that was beautiful to watch, right? So I mean, he had the class, he had the timing, and the power to back, so that was something which was amazing to watch.
Yeah, and he struggled. There were times when he did struggle initially. So, he kind of feels really human.
Yep.
And you've spoken about a great player, everyone who we've admired a lot. But like all things British, I think there is a certain tradition associated with county cricket as well. We know what happens at Wimbledon. We know what happens at the Lords. Take the viewers who not so familiar with the county cricket to a typical day of county cricket, and explain that scene a bit. Just relive that moment and the magic a bit for overseas viewers, as it may.
Okay. Do any of you go to county cricket?
I'm not as yet.
Okay. So none of you have actually, right?
No.
Okay. So just I'll go into Taunton, but I will first of all go to Lords. You've probably all been to Lords, or at least, okay.
Yogesh has been to Lords. Mahesh, you've been?
I've been to Lords.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. It's an amazing ground. It's beautiful, and on an international day, it is incredibly busy and just fantastic. But it is nowhere near as wonderful as when it's a county game. Because it's still all there. You kind of have, right. So you'll go into the ground in the morning, and it'll be, you chat to the people around you. They're all county fans. You feel part of a team. You all sit in a similar area. You'll chat. You'll take your paper. Yeah, I mean it's similar to an international game, but you don't have the massive crowds. You feel there's a real thing between county players and fans where you really feel like that they care and you're part of what, you know, part of them. You'll chat really big time with the crowd. They talk to you, and you can walk around and you chat to everyone. It just feels much more like you with a big family.
Yeah.
So Lords, for county matches, I would go as much as I possibly could. Same with the Oval. The Oval, I can't bear it on international days because I can't move. You cannot move. You cannot. But in county matches, it's not empty at all. It's got. I'm sorry, you've got a great fan base, but you see the same faces. You see, you see similar people. They all sit in similar areas. It just feels a bit like I don't know, a lesson at school where you're all sitting in the same area, or a theatre where you all sit in the same place. It's just got a special feel about it. And at Taunton, I'll get there. I can hear them talking on the radio. They're all, the players are out on the pitch. You say hi, you chat to the security guards. I personally go up to the press box and I'll chat with everyone up there, go and get my coffee. And then I take myself on my own for the first couple of overs. I just want to sit by myself and watch the game in as far away from anyone else as I can, and I just want to absorb that. You can't do that in international games. You have a seat. In county cricket you can wander around, and God, you do. You can watch it at all angles, everywhere, and the players will chat to you and you'll chat to the players, and it just feels great. I mean, it's all about, I'm just making it sound really like you just chat to everyone, but it's a day that I savour so much. I cannot describe how lovely it is just to feel like you're there with people, like-minded people, all just wanting the same thing. It's a lovely, lovely day. It's glorious.
I think you just described it as a kid in a candy store, right? You're so excited. You're so excited about it.
Can you tell I'm missing it?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I had a very offbeat question. I don't know if I could call it so. Do you think the Duke ball has started swinging a lot more than it was, than it used to before? Because, off late, if we have started seeing these series in England, or is it the skill of, say, an Anderson and abroad? Because, the ball swings way too much, right? Especially with, with Anderson and Broad coming around the wicket to left-handers and, bringing it in with the angle and then moving away, off the seam, or maybe swinging away. So that's something which is a facet which has completely, taken everybody by surprise, because it wasn't there before. Traditionally, bowlers would come over the wicket and then swing it back into the left-hander or take it away from them with the angle. But now it's completely changed the dynamics. Do you think the ball has started moving a lot more, the new Duke ball, or is it this?
It's got a huge seam, isn't it? It's really got a big seam. I honestly think it's to do with batches. I think some batches swing more than others. I know, was it the Test match last year that against Australia we certainly had a Jimmy Anderson ball, didn't we? Really, I mean, it was suited to his bowling. Possibly it seems a bit more. Maybe we've just got super good at swinging the ball, but I think it might be. I do think it might be a little bit of both, and I think there are good batches and bad batches. I'm one of these people that would be really interested to see how it would go if we all use the same ball in every country. I know there's reasons for using different, for different conditions and stuff, but it would be really interesting to see that. I think it is, with the home advantage as well as using your own ball. I think that does take away some of the excitement, maybe.
Agree.
Annie, I mean, we've spoken about how the ball swings more, but I also want to ask you, what are some of the most incredible things you've seen on a county cricket ground happening? I'm sure, like, everybody has those fond memories. I was there when that happened. What is your favorite story of that nature?
Well, I was thinking about this because I've been trying to think about. I mean, I haven't seen amazing things happen, really. I've seen some lovely games. I've seen some fantastic games. I've been to quite a few grounds now and just brilliant performances, but nothing amazing. I've not been to, I didn't see Lara get his 501, for example. I didn't see, there was a match in, I think it was 79, where Brian Rose declared after 1 over against Worcestershire to try and win, because it was to do with bowling points and we were ahead. So this is Somerset. So I didn't see that 18-minute match, for example. I didn't see any terrible injuries. I saw Viv and Joel play at Somerset, at incredible innings, but I can't think of anything. So it's a tricky one, because I could say I saw some brilliant innings, but yes, I didn't see an amazing occurrence.
Nothing from the folklore, you mean to say?
Yeah. Nothing that, I was there when that, I haven't, I must be unlucky. I kind of missed some of that. But one of the most amazing matches I went to was in, it was so long ago now, it feels forever ago. It was when Graham Thorpe was playing and David Ward, and they were playing for Surrey, and I went to Scarbados, and they scored a massive amount, and I can't remember enough about it. But have any of you ever been to Scarbados, as they call it?
No.
Fantastic outground. The atmosphere there is, it's positively IPL in England. It's an amazing ground, and I remember seeing, and it's quite small, so you get some big scores. So but having said that, nothing. Nothing. I'd love to have seen Lara's 501, for example, because I love watching good batting.
Oh yeah.
But I do. I mean, I sound like it's just batting. I mean, I think one of the really, really amazing things about red ball cricket is the bowling, and how you can bring in spinners, and you can, you try and see off the bowling as a batsman, and there's so many. Bowling is absolutely essential, and I think the white ball, it could lose some of the impetus that bowling has.
Yep. I mean, a lot of bowlers would complain that it's becoming a batsman-centric game now, right?
It is. It totally is. And some of the best games are the low-scoring games as well.
Oh yes, we all love those games. Yep, absolutely. I mean, any even contest between bat and pad is always fascinating to watch.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely. I'm a real lover of a good draw as well. I think that can be. That's some of the games that Somerset have had recently, where oh my God, we've just. Because we have never won the championship. Somerset have never won the championship, and the last few years we've had such tight games at the end where we're struggling to draw. So yeah, so I'm not just a complete batsman orientated person, but I do love watching a good batsman play.
Awesome. Great, Annie. I think that kind of brings us to the end of the show. I think, we didn't realize how the time passed so quickly, right? With so many interesting aspects covered by you. So on that note, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Annie.
Yeah, we really enjoyed this conversation, and, some lovely insights brought about from your side on county cricket, and now it's kind of on my bucket list that, travel to England whenever I can after this pandemic gets over, and maybe watch a game of Somerset with you sometime.
Yes, well, the beauty also of county cricket, just quickly, it's very cheap to go and see. So it's like, as Somerset, it's only like £13 for the day, for the whole day. And you can just dip in and out. That's what's really amazing about it as well. I mean, test matches, you have to pay so much. You don't tend to just dip in and out. But yeah, county cricket, it just feels like it's on tap and you've got it and you can just go in and join it when you feel like it. So
sure, Annie. Sounds great.
Anyway,
lunch and drink and come back in by the time it's tea or something, and then enjoy the last half of the game with the sun slightly going down, and very British things, I'd say. But I think that's the charm of it. That's the charm of it. Thank you so much.
Totally.
Annie.
No, you're
Thank
welcome.
you very much, Annie.
Thank you for listening to me waffle on.
No problem. So great, guys. Once again, thanks, Annie. And we will meet next week once again. And watch out for Cherry and Timber, because next week we're going to see a surprise, and there's going to be something new coming up. And we will be announcing it on our social media handles. So do watch out, and trust me, this is going to be fun, and this is going to be really, really exciting. On that note, thanks, Annie. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye, and keep safe.
Bye.
And let's hope for some great test cricket. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.